Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are jumping into one of the most audacious military engineering feats in all of history. We're talking about a moment where one man's ambition didn't just win a battle, it literally, and I mean literally, reshaped the earth to conquer a city everyone thought was unconquerable.
So, picture this. The year is 332 BCE. Alexander the Great is in the middle of his epic conquest of the Persian Empire, and he comes up against the city of Tyre. Now, Tyre was a real problem. It was incredibly rich, super powerful, and it seemed completely untouchable, just floating out there off the coast like a fortress.
And that was the huge puzzle Alexander had to solve. See, Tyre wasn't just some random city. It was a critical naval base for his main enemy, the Persian Empire. Taking it wasn't optional. It was absolutely essential for him to protect his back before he marched deeper into Asia.
Okay, so let's get into what made Tyre such a tough nut to crack. This wasn't just any old fortified city. This was a fortress basically built by the sea itself.
You have to understand, for centuries, Tyre was a massive hub for maritime trade. It was famous for its unbelievable wealth, its very proud people, and maybe most importantly, a long history of telling would-be conquerors to take a hike. From their island perch, they believed they were completely and utterly safe.
Now, when you look at their advantages, it's like a perfect storm of defensibility. The island location, that's a natural moat. Its walls, legendary. And the real kicker? Their powerful navy could sail out and attack any army that was stuck on the shore. A direct assault just seemed completely impossible.
So the stage was set for this epic confrontation. It was the classic story, right? An unstoppable force, Alexander's army, meeting what everybody believed was an immovable object, the island fortress of Tyre.
Alexander arrives and makes a demand that sounds kind of reasonable, but it was really anything but. He asked to enter the city to make a sacrifice to their main god, Melkart. This was a total power move. He was symbolically claiming their god, and therefore their city, as his own.
And Tyre's response? A hard no. They looked at their massive walls, their powerful navy, and that big stretch of water separating them from Alexander's army, and they felt totally secure. The refusal wasn't just a no, it was a dare. They were basically telling the young Macedonian king to do his worst.
Now here's the catch for Alexander. He didn't have a navy that could challenge Tyre's. He couldn't sail to them. So instead of just retreating, he decided to do something that nobody had ever even imagined before.
And this right here is his insane genius plan. If he couldn't sail his army to Tyre, he would bring the land itself to Tyre's walls. He ordered his soldiers to start building a massive causeway, a land bridge stretching almost a full kilometer across the open sea.
And let me tell you, this was no quick job. It was a grueling 7-month struggle. We're talking back-breaking labor and sheer, bloody-minded determination, all while being constantly attacked by the Tyrian navy.
But Tyre was not going to make it easy for him. Alexander's incredible engineering project was about to face its greatest challenges, and he would have to adapt on the fly to overcome them. The Tyrians didn't just sit and watch this bridge get built. Their ships attacked the workers constantly, and at one point, they pulled off a brilliant move. They loaded an old ship with flammable material, set it ablaze, and rammed it right into the causeway, destroying months of work in one fiery blow.
But this is where Alexander's strategic genius really shines. He didn't give up. Instead, he used his authority over other coastal cities he'd recently conquered, places like Cyprus and Phoenicia, to assemble a massive allied fleet. And just like that, the balance of power at sea completely flipped.
So with his new navy protecting the causeway from attacks, Alexander could finally bring his full military power to the city's doorstep. He rolled massive siege towers, some of the tallest ever built, right up to the walls. Battering rams pounded the stone, and after months and months of effort, a section of that famous wall finally crumbled. Once the walls were breached, the fall of the city was brutal and swift. But the victory, and especially the way it was achieved, would become a cornerstone of Alexander's entire empire and his legend. The price of resistance was terrifyingly high. Just look at this breakdown. About 30,000 people, the vast majority of the city, were sold into slavery. Another 8,000 were killed during the fighting. This was a harsh, brutal message to any other city that might even think about defying him. This timeline really puts the whole epic struggle into perspective. You can see the initial push, then that huge setback with the fire ship around month 4. But then comes the critical turning point in month 6 when his allied fleet arrives. It all leads to that final decisive assault. What a dramatic campaign.
So, what was the ultimate prize here? By taking Tyre, Alexander got rid of the Persian Empire's most powerful naval base. He solidified his supply lines, he secured the entire coast, and that freed him up to march his armies toward Egypt and into the heart of Persia without having to worry about being attacked from behind.
And this might be the most incredible part of the whole story. Alexander's causeway was so massive, so permanent, that over the centuries, sand and silt naturally built up around it. That island fortress we started with, it's not an island anymore. The mole became a permanent peninsula, connecting Tyre to the mainland, even to this very day.
It's a really powerful thought to end on, isn't it? An act of war born from one man's relentless ambition literally and permanently changed the geography of the planet. It kind of makes you wonder what other legacies, both visible and invisible, are being built by the ambitions we see in the world today.